how do we expand and how do we tap this talent and using the latest technology and all that. My partner here will explain a little bit more about that as well.
First of all, I would like to kind of very happy to have an association with ISF in such a holy space, and special thanks to J.A. Chaudhary Garu sir, who has helped us in enable us for standing here and then speaking on this platform. So we'll be grateful, thankful to J.A. Chaudhary sir and ISF for this opportunity. And as MS sir said that, so we have an ambition of like entering into the analytics with sports actually. So I think that's where we are trying to kind of develop an app which would help us to kind of enable more deep dive into with the player analytics and details. So I think that's some of the areas what we will be kind of venturing into in a phased wise manner that will help us like more opportunities and stand here in a better shape. So as sir said that we might be there is a Telugu saying which J. Chaudhary sir just said that today we might be a Geddi Poche, but I think he has given us the opportunity and the strength to become a Brahmastra. So I'm sure that coming forward, like in the next ISF stages, we will be will be more. Thank you.
We got this opportunity to come to this ISF retreat by sheer coincidence when we approached Jay sir and briefed him about our venture. And then he asked us to join. The last 3 days have been really wonderful for me and my partner. And out here we learned a lot about what it takes to be a startup and what it takes to nurture somebody and how to be mentored and what it takes to take the next step from just being a startup. And this has been a really good learning experience for us. We hope we'll be able to put some of these into practice. We have hopefully we have met with some of the people with whom we'll be able to network more in the future and take this opportunity to help them and help ourselves in the process. And by the time we are in another couple of ISF ventures later, hopefully we'll be in a position to make a pitch for from some of the investors out here to help us in our sporting ambitions as well. Thank you so much, Jay sir and Mahesh and Sheshadri Garu for giving us this opportunity to be in this.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartuptv.
మీరు ఎన్నో స్టార్టప్ ఎకోసిస్టమ్స్ చూసుంటారు, పిచెస్ చూసుంటారు. మెయిన్గా ఇవన్నీ మెట్రోపాలిటన్ సిటీస్లో జరుగుతుంటాయండి. అది ఒక రోజు ఈవెంట్గా జరుగుతుంది, ఒక చెక్ లిస్ట్గా జరుగుతుంది. కానీ ఇంటర్నేషనల్ స్టార్టప్ ఫౌండేషన్ ఒక డిఫరెంట్ విజన్తో మొదలైందండి. మా జయ చౌదరి గారి విజన్తో ఇది స్టార్ట్ అయింది. ఇక్కడ ఓన్లీ మెట్రోపాలిటన్ సిటీస్లో కాకుండా మేము ఒక రూరల్ ఏరియాస్లో ఈరోజు భద్రాచలంలో ఒక పండగలాగా జరిగిందండి ఈ ఓవరాల్ ప్రోగ్రామ్. సో ఇలానే మేము డిఫరెంట్ సిటీస్ Tier 1 and Tier 2 సిటీస్ అన్నింటినీ లిస్ట్లో ఉందండి. సో ఇది స్టార్టప్స్, ఇన్వెస్టర్స్ అందరూ ఈ ఏరియాస్లో ఉన్న వాళ్ళందరూ ముందుకు రావాలని. ఇన్ కేస్ మీకు ఇంకా ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ కావాలి అంటే మా వెబ్సైట్ని చూడండి. మీరు ఇంటర్నేషనల్ స్టార్టప్ ఫౌండేషన్ అని గూగుల్లో సెర్చ్ చేస్తే మీకు వచ్చేస్తుంది అంత ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్. హైదరాబాద్, పూణే, బెంగళూరులో అప్కమింగ్ ఈవెంట్స్ ఆల్రెడీ ఉన్నాయి. సో వీ రిక్వెస్ట్ ఎవ్రీబడి టు లుక్ అప్ అండ్ టేక్ అడ్వాంటేజ్ ఆఫ్ our startup foundation. Thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartuptv.
So good evening, sir. I think it's a great honor to have you here on the boat when we're talking about native Araku coffee, enjoying the coffee on the trip on the Godavari bank. And thank you for coming over all the way to start investing on native Araku coffee. To give you a brief, and as we discussed, native Araku coffee's vision is to add value to the tribal farmers and give rural employment for a lot of women entrepreneurs coming into picture, especially to the next generation coming in. So we would like to know, what is your vision for native Araku coffee coming up to the next 4 to 5 years as a part of ISF, so that we will also have a clarity on how we want to work together for a betterment of the country and also for the tribal.
I don't have a specific vision. My vision is your vision,
Thank you.
And it's not about coffee that got me interested in our nature coffee. It is your passion, your desire to help the Girijan, the tribal folks in rural communities like Araku, Paderu and all. And how you started, your story is what touched my heart. And your desire to help them, creating employment, particularly for the tribal women. That's very close to my heart as well, because That's what rural shows, which I founded about 12 years ago, is all about. Creating employment for rural youth and those who have talent but no opportunities, bring the opportunities to them. And this is exactly what you are doing through your initiative. And I'm very amazed by this. And that's what touched my heart, and that's what I want to see growing. And entrepreneurs like you is what is the country needs now, and help particularly the rural areas and tribal areas. So yeah, that's so I'm pretty sure that confident that your passion will lead you to the success, and your success is our success. So it's our joint success. So wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
Thanks for coming over all the way to ISF, and then we would certainly like to learn more about the opportunities which exist across the globe, and primarily in your region which you're coming from. And as you know, Araku coffee, we've been contributing to the tribal fraternity, and coffee being one of the second biggest commodity in the globe. So we would really wanted to know how native Araku coffee can contribute in expanding our wings to the other countries when I talk about European market or German market.
Definitely. I mean, one of the core mandate from the Impact Hub is also to create change in the lives of the rural people. So if we can work closely, and especially coffee is one of the allowed things in not just Germany but across Europe. So yeah, so probably this is where I see if we can really, again, it's an organic coffee if I understand, because coming from a scientific background, I understand organic coffee is not easy, though people pretend to do that. But this is a virgin land where it has not been polluted till now. So the real coffee, the real flavor of Araku could be brought to the Europe. Once, we have this Impact Hub networks, they are pretty strong across the globe, and especially in Europe, probably where the coffee-loving countries where I'm closely associated in Europe is the German-speaking nations, especially Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. And we will see that this coffee comes with flavor, its own original flavor, into our Impact Hubs. We'll see. Once they start enjoying it, probably they are the guys who are going to take forward.
We've been chosen by ISF as an open forum for investment. So we would like to know your interest in investing in native Araku coffee, and how do you work together to the next vision of next 5 years? How do you think we're going to make a difference?
So Impact Hub doesn't directly invest. Impact Hub has a network of impact investors. So for example, we work closely with Bundesinitiative for Impact. So that is a federal initiative for impact in Germany. And I have a couple of friends like Peter Brock, who suggested, hey Raja, it's the time to make impact. There are a lot of investors who would love to make that. Probably this coffee thing is something that is very close to the heart of the Europeans. Probably this is where we can tell the impact investors, hey, it's not just the coffee that will run. It's also the flavor of coffee plus the rural works with the virgin coffee that you're going to get onto the markets, into the European markets, would be amazing. And I hope many impact investors would love to be a part of this initiative which you have taken. Absolutely great, Ram.
To give you an assurance, we're already working on a rural employment, especially for women rural employment model. We will have the final output ready in next 2 to 3 months' time. We will certainly share the presentation with the success story, and especially which we spoke in our current meeting for the next September ISF event. We will have a real-time experience of what is the success story and how many women entrepreneurs we are able to turn around. Then I think it'll be easy for us to showcase to all our investors. Instead of talking, we also go back and prove how can we really make a difference to the society. Thank you so much for your time, sir, and certainly would love to connect with you again and again.
Thanks a lot, Ram. We look forward to working with you and see, especially when you talk about the women entrepreneurship. That's the need of the country, need of the globe. Thanks a lot.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
Jai Sri Ram. First of all, we are showing our Indian flavor of Indian Startup Festive, which is truly there in a remarkable place in our ancient and historical legacy that we carry out. We all know, we have seen in the recent past, at the birthplace is also the place the divine holy Ram has been here. And it's all with our Indian startup has got a big retreat starting this year with my mentor, of course, Sri J. Chaudhary ji, and also with the blessings of Sri Ram. We had this is the second day, and we are all, I hope, we got close to about 100 plus coming to you. Thank you, MyStartuptv as well, for the bite coming in the boat, and I think it's very different. I hope you will have also a unique experience of investors and startups in not a boot camp, which is traditional, but this is a boot camp, and we have already some investments committed, what I understand, and we are taking this to global places. We definitely want more participations. I see we'll be all there. Thank you. Jai Hind.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
స్టార్టప్ ఫౌండేషన్ మనకి ఇంటర్నేషనల్ స్టార్టప్ ఫౌండేషన్ అయిందండి. ఈ సీది రెసిడెన్సీ వేదికగా నా హోటల్ మా లాడ్జ్ వేదికగా మనకి గురుగారు వారి సంకల్పం, అందరి మా అదర్ వాలంటీర్ సంకల్పంతో ఇక్కడ రావడం జరిగింది. అలాగే నాకున్న అనుసంధానం భద్రాచలంతో రామస్వరూప్ భద్రశ్రీ ఆరాధ్య పీఠం, వీరందరి దీంతో మనకి ఇక్కడికి రావాలని చెప్తే మేమందరం కనీసం 100 మంది పైగా వాళ్ళు చెప్పిన గురుగారు చెప్పిన ప్రపంచ దేశాల నుంచి వచ్చాం. ఇది కేవలం ఆరంభం కూడా కాదంటాను నేను. ఇందాక చెప్పిన టీజరే, ఇంకా మన ట్రైలర్ వేయలేదు. మనకి బాగా చెయ్యాలి. ఒక ముగ్గురు ఆల్రెడీ కొంతమంది ఇన్వెస్టర్స్ వచ్చారు, మన బోటు పాపికొండలు అన్నీ చూశారు. నేను ఇందాక చెప్పినట్టు మన ప్రధాని మోదీ గారిని కూడా మన భద్రాచలం మర్చిపోయినట్టున్నారు. నేను దాన్ని మనం గుర్తు చేయాలి. వాళ్ళకి తెలుసు, కానీ ఇంకా బాగా మనం చేసి రావాలి. వారికి అందరికీ పెట్టి మా యొక్క సంకల్పంతో అదొక చేసి మనందరికీ ఇక్కడ ఉన్న వాళ్ళందరికీ గ్లోబల్ విలేజ్ భద్రాచలం అనేది అవ్వాలి. రాముల వారు ఎలాగో అందరికీ ఆరాధ్య దేవుడు, అన్ని మతాల వారికి. మీ అందరికీ తెలుసు, మనం ఎక్కడికి వెళ్తున్నా ఏ కంట్రీలో ఉన్నా ఇది జరగాలని చెప్పి కోరుకుంటూ జై శ్రీరామ్.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
I'm quite delighted and happy to be part of this international startup foundation journey over the last 4-5 months. I came to know about this through one of my friends, and ever since I try to participate and try to understand, learn how various startups are being formed, not only in the urban area but also in the rural background and backdrop, how people are leveraging the technology, how people are trying to solve some of the tough global problems. It's really amazing. I'm quite delighted to be part of this wonderful journey, and then try to help in mentoring some of the startups. And there is a lot of learning. It always surprises. I mean, when we hear somebody trying to solve a problem across the length and breadth of India, delighted to be part of this wonderful journey. And I do hope that, this would help in terms of promoting the employment, as well as the India try to help in emerging India as one of the global superpowers in the next 10, 15, 20 years. Thank you once again.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
We are solving the problem of ultrasound access in rural towns and villages, basically impacting rural healthcare. We are building a robotic system which can provide ultrasound access to rural patients, basically the pregnant women and patients with pain in abdomen, etc. Now, a radiologist from a city can provide the ultrasonography services by doing a remote scans and thereby giving the live reports back to the doctor. Now, this is going to add to the stack of teleradiology, and ultrasound access can be given across the country irrespective of their geographical barriers. Now we have come to Bhadrachalam for a temple visit. Fortunately, we have met with the ISF team here for a temple visit. Fortunately, we have met with the ISF team here where there are many mentors and investors who are guiding us in terms of startup ecosystem and fundraising as well. So we see there is a huge breakthrough here as we are MVP ready and we are ready for investments. We see some investment might be flowing through us in next couple of months. Thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartup TV.
Understand what impact is going to do for developing countries like India, especially in the field of education.
Yeah, Professor Rangaya Garu, it's absolutely my pleasure to talk to you with such an enlightened person. Definitely, I mean, like, education is, personally, it is to the core of my heart. And especially when we talk about the Indian conditions of the developing countries, especially being in India, so probably skilling mission would be one thing. That is what the need of the hour is. We have such a great demographic dividend, but unfortunately, everyone cannot become an IT professional, but we need a manufacturing sector. Probably it goes in line and tune with the Make in India program, with the Prime Minister Modi wanted. Probably that's a great vision, but we need to have a mission. So until we go to the grassroots and work with the schools where we tell them, like, look guys, you need to really have the skills, hands-on experience. See, at the end of the day, the German model, they have 365 skills or trades. So this is not developed in a year or two. If I understand, it's more than 200 years old concept. So that's one reason Germany is very successful in manufacturing. Probably if we can do this, I would rather think India would be blooming again with its manufacturing prowess.
Yes. It's really wonderful that even Indian government is seeing skilling the Indian youth is very, very important, and they are giving high priority to this. But when it comes to skilling, one is at school and college level. Yes. So that is, we are looking at there more towards providing concepts, mathematical abilities and all these things, because that is foundation courses are going to be there. But when you come to higher education, especially engineering and other professions, so a lot of scope is there, especially in advanced technologies, for people to outshine in the global market. So there are certain areas, especially India is strong with reference to software as well as hardware design and development, VLSI and other things. So even artificial intelligence and IoT, all these things are catching up. So there is a lot of scope, because the number of engineering graduates that are coming out from various colleges in Indian universities are quite large in number, and not all of them are finding useful employment. So there is a lot of scope for skilling them at graduate and postgraduate level. Do you see any opportunity there?
No, it's a great question again. But a tough question to answer directly. See, the German ecosystem, German-speaking nations, especially Austria, Switzerland, and Germany, so they have a unique system of skilling their students in the educational system embedded together. Right. Like what happens is that fourth class, a student is decided either he should go into the technical education or into university. Only 1/3 go to the university, remaining 1/3 go into the technical education, the so-called engineering, what we talk about, and 1/3 goes into the vocational training, what our polytechnics were earlier. Probably this is what we missed the bus, though we had it, but probably to revive this concept again. So the best thing what happens in Germany is they start working with the industry. So this is where, if we can really see that there's a kind of collaboration between the industry and the institutions, the educational institutions, engineering colleges, probably that would really bring them closer to the industry, create that value. Once if they have this value skills in them, probably that will open doors for their opportunities in the field of employment.
So you have rightly said that there is a need for industry-university collaboration, industry-college collaboration. Actually, if you try to understand, I am running one institute called Veda IIT, which is an industry-university collaboration. A lot of industry people join together to train people, especially in advanced technologies, and we are doing it. But what we are missing is the quality. especially if you want high quality, there is a need for more and more industries to come forward. So here I think there is a lot of scope, especially with countries like Germany, where a lot of experience is there in this regard, to do much better, because where our strengths are there, if our strengths are also matching, that will promote synergy and give better scope for people, for better employment opportunities, and value-added education is one of the important things. So coming to the social front, especially education is not just providing skills, but making them useful citizens for the country as well as for the world. So, when it comes to providing conduct, if you see the conduct and character of the people, ethical sense, they should be not only technically competent, but they should be ethically upright. What do you think that we should focus to improve the ethical behavior of the young population today? Because, finally, that is going to shape the countries and the world.
Sir, I should admit, it is one of the toughest questions ever I had. I love to answer even the toughest questions, but when it comes to the this question, so I'll try within my limits. I'll try to answer it, and so I may not be in a position to give you a comprehensive answer, because there's a need of the social scientists really to interact with the technical educational institutions. Probably this is one area where Europe, especially the German-speaking nations, have brought in, and my institute, a socio-economic institute, Fraunhofer, where I've been associated for a lot of years. So probably this is what we can do some kind of piloting. Hey, what would be the right mix? Like how we can really bring in this ethical issues, how this could be embedded into the students, not just, they have a good job and everything, but also they have a social responsibility. This is a bigger question, so I think we should answer it in a bigger agenda, and people with expertise in that. Absolutely great.
Thank you so much, Ras, for your insightful answers. We hope we can interact more and more and try to find areas where we can help each other. Thank you.
So thank you, Professor Rangagaru. Absolutely great, sir. It's my privilege, it's my honor to interact with such intellectuals, definitely with my experience in Europe, where I've been living for the past 2 decades and more. Probably we will see what best could be brought here, what we call as the best practices into the Indian ecosystem. And of course, Indian ecosystem is absolutely great, there's no doubt in it. But to learn from each other is something that I always think we should be humble to learn from each other, and that's where we grow together to make a good and prosperous society. Thank you, sir.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartup TV.
So breast cancer is one of the common malignancies worldwide, which affects around tens of millions of cases. Modified radical mastectomy is one of the common surgeries that is performed for this. And we have designed a surgical retractor which can help in performing this particular surgery, and any surgery that will involve raising skin flaps. So this invention will have a breakthrough technology of coil-based retraction system, which also has malleable arms. So we are also MVP ready, and at this juncture we happen to meet ISF, some kind of mentorship and investment pertaining to this particular invention of ours, and we could see that our startup would find great heights through this particular meeting. Thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartup TV.
Let us now hear from Dr. Ajit Shetty, Chairman of International Advisory Board of BioAsia, as he provides his perspective with his valuable words.
Honorable Chief Minister and friends, it has been a privilege for me to have been associated since 2012 when I was chair of Janssen, And I came from Belgium and found this little nucleus being created here in Hyderabad, and it has grown into a gigantic scale of a hub for innovation, which is incredible proof to the efforts that's been put here in the past. Now, I don't want to take up too much time, but I just want to say they've moved from just disrupting the current state of affairs towards creating the future. And to end with Dr. Paul Janssen's words, the patients are waiting, so let's move ahead. Thank you very much.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartup TV.
I would like to call forward with a huge round of applause. I request our Honourable Minister of Health, Government of Western Australia, Ms. Amber J. Sanderson, to please, thank you, to please say a few words.
Thank you for that very warm welcome. Kaya Wanju and Namaskara. Kaya Wanju is the word for hello in the language of the Whadjuk Noongar people, the traditional owners of the land where I live in Perth, Western Australia. The Whadjuk Noongar people have a cultural heritage that dates back many thousands of years. And it has been wonderful to learn more about the equally rich cultural heritage of the state of Telangana. I'd like to acknowledge and thank the Honourable Anumula Ravant Reddy, Chief Minister, the Honourable Dudila Sridhar Babu, the Minister for Information Technology, Electronics and Communications, Industries and Commerce and Legislative Affairs, and for the very warm welcome to the great state of Telangana. I'm delighted to be here in Hyderabad today at BioAsia 2024 during this official ministerial visit on behalf of the West Australian Government. It's been a pleasure to meet many of the representatives from your thriving biotech industry as global partners. The size of your globally renowned life sciences sector is breathtaking, and I am thrilled with the opportunity to experience it firsthand. As well as sharing an Indian Ocean, both of our states share an entrepreneurial spirit. This is reflected in our shared vision of transitioning to future economies that decarbonise, inclusive and innovative and diverse. It is also reflected in our shared emphasis on the knowledge economy, with a mutual understanding that fostering the growth of our innovation ecosystems will result in jobs, prosperity, and increased accessibility to world-class healthcare. I'm honoured to speak with you today about West Australia's vision for our own health and medical life sciences sector. The West Australian Government has a clear vision for our future economy. A vision that by 2035 would see us at the forefront of a cleaner, greener, more tech-savvy economy that provides high-quality jobs and high-quality products and services to the world. The West Australian Government has been embarking on a targeted approach to attracting investment and growing trade opportunities that will enable Western Australian industry to become smarter, more sustainable, and more diversified. As a $410 billion economy, our interest is in growing industries to diversify this economy, which includes support for 8 key industries. Prominent amongst these is the health and medical life sciences sector. With 1/3 of Australia's land mass, our healthcare system spans the largest geographical healthcare jurisdiction on the planet, delivering in some of our harshest and most remote conditions. We have recognised the importance of activities that will improve the value and productivity across multiple sectors of the external-facing economy. With respect to health and medical life sciences, our goal is to leverage our investments in our world-class hospitals, medical research institutes, and research universities. Over the past 5 years, WA's health and medical life sciences ecosystem has doubled. As we are well aware, COVID-19 highlighted the importance of innovative healthcare solutions. It made us aware of the importance of building sovereign capability, of ensuring and securing local and global health and medical supply chains, so that ourselves and our partners are resilient in the face of supply disruptions and global healthcare challenges. One key action the West Australian Government has taken in the establishment of the Future Health Research and Innovation Health Fund 2020. This sovereign wealth fund, built from the success of our iron ore exports, currently stands at 1.8 billion Australian dollars. It provides a secure source of funding to drive health and medical research in Western Australia, delivering innovation and commercialisation outcomes. This fund has already made investments into a range of research programs, and these opportunities are only accelerating. Western Australia has a world-class, vibrant innovation ecosystem underpinned by our leading research institutions, globally competitive manufacturing capability, and highly skilled workforce. In order to support this ecosystem, the West Australian Government has established the Skilled Migrant Job Connect program. This program supports skilled migrants with funding and free settlement services, including mentoring and cultural training to help them establish their lives in Western Australia and participate in Western Australia's workforce. More information is available at the West Australian Expo stand here in BioAsia. West Australia's health and medical life sciences sector has many strengths, including a world-class research base and entrepreneurial talent in health and medical research and clinical practice. 5 universities that all have strengths in life sciences and our outstanding medical research institutes with specialisation in areas including paediatrics, rare diseases, personalised medicine and ear and eye health. The emergence of a contemporary, technologically enabled healthcare system that is comprised of a blend of public and private hospitals offering Western Australia is a unique jewel that will allow you to succeed in business and live in an amazing lifestyle surrounded by one of the most pristine landscapes that you'll find on the planet. Western Australia is already home to some of the world's leading researchers, innovators, and over the next decade we will see some amazing advances in homegrown research and innovation. I'm very proud to be here today, leading the delegation of healthcare providers, digital health, biotech companies from Western Australia. I invite you all to learn more about Western Australia and to consider bringing your talents to our state, expanding your business in our region, and accessing all that Perth has to offer as a launchpad for the rest of Australasia. The West Australian Government, through the Invest and Trade Western Australia office located in India, please reach out or visit us at our booth to engage with Western Australia. Thank you for your warm welcome today.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartuptv.
With smart and incredibly passionate people with the goal to deliver really important medicines to patients. And while we have made incredible progress with scientific advancements that have led to new medicines to treat serious diseases in a way which we could only have imagined just a few years ago, we have more to do. That is the challenge, that's the opportunity, and that's additional wisdom that we need to challenge. Here's one I hear a lot. Innovation comes mainly from the United States. But clearly that's not the case. Look at all of the great scientific advancements, and you will see contributions from around the world. And that includes India, which is an undisputed hub of technical expertise thanks to the government's commitment to education. Innovation comes exclusively from corporations. We know better. Innovation comes from people, from entrepreneurs, from people who think differently, who reimagine solutions to challenging problems, who welcome a diversity of perspectives. And so I wouldn't ask, where is the innovation, but rather, where are the innovators? And they're right here in India. Because this This is the place where people want to solve problems differently. Last year, we announced our new site in Hyderabad. We formally inaugurated that site yesterday during our lamplighting ceremony. And of course, we're not new to India. In Mumbai today, we provide medicines supporting patients battling very serious diseases like cancer. In Bangalore, in partnership with Syngene, BMS employees and R&D work daily to support targeted identification, lead discovery and optimization, and translational medicine. So while we've had a presence here for more than 25 years, I see this as a new beginning, a new chapter for BMS in India. And I am incredibly proud of what we have done so quickly. In a single year, BMS Hyderabad went from an idea to home to over 900 employees. And by 2025, it will be the largest site in our company outside of the United States. We've been told that makes us the fastest growing company in Hyderabad. Our latest $100 million investment will bring over 1,500 BMS employees together across IT, drug development, and global business operations to enhance our innovation capabilities for patients everywhere. And that adds up to much better problem solving with many more smart people and creating a hub to enable the people we bring into the organization to deliver more medicines to more patients even faster. One final misconception that I want to address is to those who say that what we do is easy. It's not. It's filled with risk-taking, calculation, and ups and downs. And I'll give you one example from my own career. I had the pleasure of working on cell therapy when it was a very nascent technology. No one knew it was going to work. In fact, there were many days we looked across the table and we said it's definitely not going to work. And here we are today, scientific advancements enabling us literally to turn the body into its own medicine. As a leader in cell therapy, we are incredibly excited about these advances, but it didn't happen overnight. It happened incrementally. What I find when I talk to people outside of the industry and sometimes within the industry is that they really don't understand how iterative and incremental the process of innovation is. That's because people like to focus on light bulb moments. But we know it's the everyday moments, the constant moments of looking for a cure or a path forward for patients, and that's the driver of innovation. Scientists toiled for decades to deliver on the promise of immuno-oncology or immunotherapy, harnessing the body's immune system to fight cancer. We were the first to actually make it happen, and the impact has been transformational. It wasn't that long ago that if you were diagnosed with melanoma, you typically had less than 12 months to live. Our first trials in melanoma with our first IO agent, ipilimumab, showed about a 20-month survival. And some people said, well, that's only an 8-month advance. Not that impressive. But what they didn't realize is that 8 months raises the bar. It becomes the new baseline, the new standard against which the next generation of medicines will be measured. And today, we have patients treated with our combination IO therapies that have been alive for 6 years and some as long as 10 years. The increments matter because they are finally adding up to the cure that newly diagnosed melanoma patients can hope for today. And as the only company with 3 approved IO agents in the United States, we continue to raise the bar again and again. There are countless other examples of how increments really add up to patient benefit. But what if we could go from incremental to exponential? I am super excited about the promise of AI and other digital tools to help us move faster and with a higher probability of success. It's the accelerant that can help us deliver more medicines even faster. We can talk about the impact of this technology from a couple of different perspectives. First, it can be an accelerant operationally. I'll use BMS examples, but I really think this is something that's happening across the biopharmaceutical industry. With AI tools, we can write protocols for clinical trials much faster. Instead of months, we can do it in days. The magnitude of impact can be the difference between a patient enrolling in a clinical trial or not. And for patients with serious diseases like cancer, that can mean the difference between life and death. And here's the great part. This work, in large part, will be happening right here in India for BMS. We've used digital tools to model real-world data so that we know if our drugs are working, if they're going to be better than the standard of care. We harness real-world data to create virtual cohorts, collections of virtual patients that enable us to reach decisions much faster. That means instead of recruiting 1,000 patients, we only need 500. Instead of taking 6 years, that trial might only take 3 years. And within research, we're using AI to make better molecules faster. In fact, all of our small molecule trials will be enabled by AI by the end of this year. And again, all of this work is or will be happening right here in India. Those are pretty nice examples of incremental improvements. But what I'm really excited about is how can this make us better at doing what we fundamentally do as a company, applying digital tools to really complicated areas of science to make game-changing advances. Remember how I said that 10 years ago we didn't know if cell therapy would work? Well, today, once a patient is diagnosed with certain blood cancers, we can take cells out of the body and re-engineer those cells to recognize their cancer and then eventually re-infuse them back into the patient. Once inside, those engineered cells attack and kill the cancer. It's a truly remarkable scientific breakthrough. When we first started, there was so much we didn't know. Which patients would benefit, how to design the clinical trials, how to best engineering the manufacturing process. With digital and computational tools, we can now answer all of those questions. And that's enabled us to be a leader in this fast-growing and incredibly exciting field. So much so, we're now moving beyond cancer and taking aim at autoimmune disease with our next generation technology. We call this next generation technology NextT. Using our broad experience in autoimmune diseases such as MS and lupus, we can jump the gap by using AI models trained on thousands of patients to predict features linked to manufacturing success and to safety. And if successful, this will be groundbreaking. We're aiming to provide a functional cure for these types of diseases, and that's never been seen before. And we're focused on making this incredible technology more broadly available, and that includes here in India. I was just talking to a doctor who treats patients with lupus. He told me about a 30-year-old woman with young children at home, and when he provided the lupus diagnosis, the woman was relieved. Now she knew what was causing her to feel incredible joint and muscle pain. She was prescribed a powerful immunosuppressant, which is the standard of care. And then she asked, when do I come off of this medicine? And the physician had to tell her never. Now imagine being 30 years old and finding out you have to take an injectable medicine that puts you at risk for infection for the rest of your life. Being able to offer this woman a functional cure would be life-changing. It would be a major disruption in the standard of care. These are medicines that matter, that bring transformational benefit. But let's not stop there. What if we could improve the standard of care for diagnosis? Obstructive hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM, is a thickening of the heart muscle wall that makes it difficult for the heart to fill with blood. Untreated, HCM can result in life-threatening irregular heart rhythms and sudden death. Mavacamten is our game-changing treatment for HCM. It's the first medicine to treat the underlying causes of the disease, not just the symptoms. In fact, Just last week, a physician showed me this picture when he was reviewing scans from his patient. And he said, look, you can see that the heart is remodeling itself. But HCM has always been hard to diagnose, even for specialists. It can take an average of 2 years from the time the patient develops symptoms to when they get a definitive diagnosis and treatment. So the question is, how do we identify patients with HCM sooner and enable earlier detection? Well, we partnered with Viz.ai, which is a company that supplies analytics to hospitals that help interpret the thousands of electrocardiograms administered across those systems. With our sponsorship, they developed an algorithm to analyze ECG results, looking for very hard to find markers for HCM. And when the algorithm detects possible HCM, it alerts doctors which patients need additional evaluation, and that can shave off significant time to when patients are able to benefit from this medicine. Just last August, the FDA issued clearance for this algorithm, and that's a first. It's also a great example of the value of collaborations and partnerships and how they can speed the way to patient solutions. We've always said we don't have a monopoly on great ideas. Working together, we can do so much more than we can do alone, such as tackling really difficult scientific challenges like Alzheimer's disease, a large and growing unmet need around the world. And while there are now 2 approved products in the US to treat Alzheimer's, other approaches are urgently needed. Here you see a human brain. There are billions of cells in every single brain, and within each one of those cells, 20,000 genes are expressed at different levels, all leading to this coordinated story in the human brain that we don't fully understand. For example, we know that when certain proteins begin to clump or aggregate in the brain, this leads to inflammation, which in turn causes brain cells to die. When brain cells die, symptoms begin to emerge, such as memory loss. With AI tools, we can look at each and every one of those cells and sort through the features of protein aggregation that correlate to someone who will develop Alzheimer's disease. We now know that one of the most important proteins that aggregates in the brain is called tau. By clearing tau protein from the brain, we hypothesize that we will prevent inflammation and, most importantly, prevent brain cells from dying. We have an anti-tau antibody in early development that, if successful, could potentially prevent cognitive decline and give someone many more years of their memory to live happy, healthy, and productive lives. And that's what we think of as truly transformational. And that's what drives us at Bristol Myers Squibb. These are just a few of the many examples of how digital technologies and tools, and frankly, our hearts being in the right place, can start to shift the incremental to the exponential. What an incredibly exciting time to be in this industry. We have witnessed tremendous progress in how patients with serious diseases can be treated and respond to transformational medicines. Over the last 100 years, we've gained 25 years of life expectancy through innovation with vaccines, modern medicines, and frankly, really smart and dedicated people doing the hard work. Integrate digital technology, we can add another 25 years of life expectancy in half the time. But of course, the ultimate accelerant is the human in the room. It's people. And we believe that will always be the case. Talented, passionate people who work with a singular focus to deliver more medicines to more patients even faster. On a personal note, having grown up in a small town in Arkansas in the American South, I could never have imagined that I would be here today in the midst of the monumental advances that we are making as an industry and that are on display here at BioAsia. I was very fortunate, though, to be raised by a large, tight-knit family. Almost every night, we spent time together, not just as an immediate family, but as an extended family and friends and relatives. And those experiences taught me about the value of community, being part of something bigger than the individual, where people have each other's backs. It is my hope that we can remind each other of the importance of finding the best in people and appreciating every contribution that gets made. I am so excited about what we can do together and am honored to be part of the future that is being made right here in India today. Together, we can shape the future of healthcare globally and deliver more for patients. So thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartup TV.
And now I would like to request Mr. Christopher Berner, PhD, Chief Executive Officer of Bristol Myers Squibb, to please say a few words.
Good morning, and thank you all, Honorable Chief Minister Reddy Garu and Minister Babu Garu, and as well as distinguished guests. It's such a tremendous pleasure to be representing Bristol Myers Squibb at this important conference, and it's a true honor to be giving the keynote address shortly. I just want to say a very sincere thank you to the organizers of this event. This event really does epitomize the ecosystem that has been created here in India and here specifically in Hyderabad. Bristol Myers Squibb has an almost 30-year commitment to India, and I'm extremely pleased that we have established a presence now here in Hyderabad. In less than a year, we have taken our presence from an idea to almost 1,000 employees. And that success was not by accident. It came about because of the tremendous support that we've received from the honorable ministers, from the government of Telangana, from the organizers of this event. And I sincerely thank all of you. India and now Hyderabad are at the center of our mission as a company to deliver truly transformational medicines to patients. So it is a heartfelt thank you to all of you, and I look forward to this conference.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartup TV.
Let us now hear from Dr. Ajit Shetty, Chairman of International Advisory Board of BioAsia, as he provides his perspective with his valuable words.
Honorable Chief Minister and friends, it has been a privilege for me to have been associated since 2012 when I was chair of Janssen. And I came from Belgium and found this little nucleus being created here in Hyderabad. And it has grown into a gigantic scale of a hub for innovation, which is incredible proof to the efforts that's been put here in the past. Now, I don't want to take up too much time, but I just want to say they've moved from just disrupting the current state of affairs towards creating the future. And to end with Dr. Paul Janssen's words, the patients are waiting, so let's move ahead. Thank you very much.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartup TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us move on to our next keynote address. It is going to be by Dr. Rodney Hockman, President and CEO of Providence. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome him with a huge round of applause. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. It's the first time I've ever followed a Nobel laureate. I'll give this a try. Coming to Hyderabad is like coming home for us. As many of you know in this audience, Hyderabad is the home of the Providence Global Center. We've been in Hyderabad now for 4 years, and we are the first health system in the United States that has established a presence in India, in Hyderabad, particularly for information technology and the concepts around AI and data. Today, we have 1,400 caregivers in Hyderabad. Yesterday, we were glad to dedicate our new headquarters here, and we look at the future in exponential growth in Hyderabad. We consider Hyderabad and Providence, India, as important as Providence, California, or Providence, Washington. Our hometown. So thank you so much for everything that we have here, and we look to a bright future as we go forward. Our home headquarters is in Seattle, Washington, which in a lot of ways has a lot of similarities to Hyderabad. We're the home of Microsoft. What's that other company that starts with an A? I think it's called Amazon. So we are used to living in a high-tech hub, but we very, very carefully selected Hyderabad, and two of my colleagues that are with me today have been in India, in Hyderabad, for 20 years. And they did the initial work to get Microsoft started here in India, and they've done a tremendous job for us at Providence. What we're looking forward to in the United States, I'm the past chair of the American Hospital Association. In the United States, we have 5,000 hospitals, and probably, I would say, about 800 to 1,000 health systems. What we're looking forward to the future is bringing partnerships of other health systems to us in India. And we've already started with one, Advent Health, that started, but I can tell you there's a lineup of my colleagues in the United States that want to be part of what's happening in India. So why India, why Hyderabad, and what's the transformation? So healthcare, like in India, is a little bit chaotic at times. I represent the delivery side of healthcare. So we're situated in the western United States, and we have hospitals, 52 hospitals from Alaska to Lubbock, Texas. We have over 1,000 clinics, and we have 121,000 caregivers in the United States, and we service anywhere from 5 to 10 million patients in the U.S. About 8 years ago, we said we need to transform our own healthcare system and healthcare. And we needed to go from just a patient care delivery system to an information and services company. So we figured out we couldn't do it alone, so we started hiring people from Amazon and Microsoft and other tech companies to help transform our organization. And one of the first things they said, we need to broaden our scope of computer engineering, and that's why we're here in India. But more than that, we really needed to become a data and analytics organization. So last year, as we've left COVID, we called last year at Providence the year of human connection. We stopped getting behind our screens and started to get back together like what we're doing today. But this year, we declared, and going forward, for Providence and for healthcare, it's the year of transformation and collaboration. Transformation and collaboration. Healthcare needs to transform. The delivery side needs to transform. And how are we going to do that? We're going to do that through the tools of AI and data. So Providence started on a journey to digitize itself and to become a completely digital company, which I would say over the last 5 years, we're almost there. In addition to that, we said that as a healthcare organization, we need to diversify our portfolio. So today, we're a services company that implements electronic health records in Great Britain, in Western Europe, and almost every state in the United States. So a lot of times when a new electronic health record is going on, our people are doing that work as we go forward. The second thing that we said is that we need, data is chaotic in healthcare. And we were not willing to allow our friends at Microsoft and Facebook and Amazon to take our health data. So what we did is said, let's get the health systems of the United States together to create our own data company. Today, Truveta is about 3 years old. It has over 35 health systems that are contributing all of their healthcare data to one point. The power of this is immense. So we account for anywhere from 12 to 15% and growing of all healthcare data in the United States. The importance in terms of biomedical research is that database is incredibly diverse. So it has everything from Hawaiian Islanders to people living in South Central Los Angeles to people that live in Alaska. That kind of a database is critically important to our friends in pharma who are looking to unlock unique properties for medications that they have. Amongst that is almost limitless. The United States government has started to ask us about our data and how we collect it. And we think this is going to be a revolution in the way we do it. But what's critically important is it's data owned by the people that actually do the work and take care of the patients. And we have been tremendously successful in that. In addition to that, we created an organization called Tegria, which enables us to provide services to other hospitals all around the United States and ultimately around the world and particularly in Europe as we stand now. So we've really diversified our portfolio. In addition, we talk about the 6 Ds at Providence: digitization, diversification. Then the third one's a little controversial: deconstruction, which means we take the health system apart and decide which components are the most important, which ones have value. Today, Providence, in addition to its 52 hospitals, 1,000 clinics, 120,000 caregivers, we're in supportive housing. We have our own health plan. And we even have a high school in Burbank, California. And all of my investors ask us, why did we hold on to a high school in Burbank, California, Providence High School? And when with our investors, they say, we need to know what 14 to 16-year-olds are thinking. And it's really our laboratory to understand where the future is going. We were started 170 years ago in the territory of Washington in the Western United States. That tradition, we've always changed, we've always innovated as we went forward. And our saying at Providence is that we exist at an intersection between compassion and innovation. Last year, we did over $2 billion of free care, community service in the United States, in addition to being a $28 billion healthcare corporation. We're looking at the collaboration amongst healthcare systems to really solve some of the problems that we have in the United States in the development of care. So those are the first 3 Ds. Well, what else is there in other Ds? The other D is the delivery of care. We're looking at the scientific way that we deliver care to decrease technologically the burden on doctors and nurses. So today we have a co-caring model of nursing so that our nurses in our hospitals and clinics literally have partners that are on their computers at home doing some of the work along with them. So we look at that as a way to make the difference in healthcare, and we look at things like telemedicine and all of those techniques to really revolutionize the D, which is the delivery of care. What's the 5th D? Diagnostic and therapeutics. If you have any doubt about that, you heard from our first 2 speakers. I've been a physician for 45 years, and we've seen just a dramatic change in what we're able to do. When I started in practice, we kept a total hip replacement in the hospital for 2 weeks. Today, we do it as an outpatient. One of our surgeons operated during COVID on a patient in London from his robotic surgery platform in Seattle, Washington. Seattle operating on a patient in London. So the delivery of care and how we do it and the diagnostics that we use are just going to be remarkable. I'm on the board of GE Healthcare, so very, very interested in the diagnostics that we use in CT scanning and others that make such a difference in our ability to diagnose and care for patients rapidly and thoughtfully. I would never think today what we're able to do 45 years ago in terms of what we're able to offer patients. The last D is probably the most important. I cheat a little bit. It's data and artificial intelligence. So today, Providence has a whole group of folks that do nothing but think about the applications of artificial intelligence. One of the things that we've done, which is different than others that are dabbling in artificial intelligence, is we've said, how do we apply AI to make clinicians and nurses smarter and have less burden? So what's the biggest problem today that most physicians have on the front line? They have an electronic inbox that is this big. And they spend most of their time trying to answer electronic questions and everything else from their patients. Many of us send our questions on our iPhones to our physicians. Well, we've used AI to basically empty the inbox for physicians. So using bots and using artificial intelligence, we triage what the questions are, what has to be answered, and most importantly, who has to answer them. We're also developing AI techniques that can give physicians the answers to complex questions at the point of service, something we call Pearl, which enables clinicians to really have the information that they need. When I was back as an intern and a resident a few years ago, I had everything in a book in my pocket. Today that, I can listen to it in my ear sequence to understand what are the choices and what are the things that we have to do to make patients better, faster, and smarter. Today, we don't read an EKG. It's read electronically for us. Most of you have a watch and you're checking your own EKG as we go. We believe that through AI, things like making sure that CAT scans and MRIs are read the right way, this will become commonplace. And we need to use these techniques to make care smarter and better. We need to take the average physician and turn them into the superb physician. And that's where we really see this exciting interface between technology and healthcare. When we first started hiring technology people at Providence, technology people did not understand healthcare people. Healthcare people did not understand technology people. So we had a Venn diagram, and we had them both here. When you put the two together, that's where magic occurs. So we brought in our folks from Microsoft and everywhere else and sat them down with our clinicians, with our scientists, and with our administrators. And I think that's the secret sauce, to understand how technology can work practically and how data can be used to accelerate what a healthcare system can do. And that's what we believe. Today, we think there's going to be further consolidation of the health systems. We're talking to health systems in India about what they're doing because we believe there's commonality in the problems that we're solving. When we had COVID first hit, we had the first patient who had COVID in Washington State back in 2020. Within one day, we were on the phone with our colleagues in China and in Italy to understand what we needed to do with our patients. And that sense of collaboration is something particularly for us is going to be critically important as we go forward. But we're looking at consolidating all the business practices of healthcare systems in the United States together. So I pose the question, why should every healthcare system in the country and the world have their own cybersecurity? It makes no sense. In order to combat what we need to do on the cyber side, we need to do this together. So we believe things like information technology, cyber, data, actually even finding the right people to work at our hospitals and clinics are things that we should do together as a group of health systems. So we'll be announcing within the next few months what we call the Health System Collaborative, HSC, which means these are health systems in the United States that have said, we're going to look at the whole back office of healthcare and drive that together, both to do it less expensively, but better. So, our vision, as you can see up here, is health for a better world. We look at ourselves as not just a United States-based health ministry, but an international health ministry. And we feel that one of the keys to our success and the success of healthcare in the United States is going to be our commitment here in India with some of the smartest IT technology people we have, and that collaboration. So thank you so much for having me here today.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartuptv.
I welcome Professor Greg Simanza to please share his acceptance speech.
Honorable Chief Minister, Honorable Minister, and assembled dignitaries and guests, it's a great honor for me to accept the 2024 Genome Valley Excellence Award. I would like to thank the BioAsia International Advisory Board, Shakti Nagapan, the CEO of BioAsia, and the government of Telangana.